hunk of a man. Come and get me.
Jason is back.
Your psychokineses and these delusions.
No, you're not listening to me.
Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. Opening Friday, May 13th, the deadliest day of the year.
Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching. And the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. Really hope you enjoyed last week's interview with actress and author Stacey Greason. She was the first kill in the sequel that we're going to be covering, Friday the 13th, our favorite franchise to cover. And it's A New Blood, Part 7. She was the first death. She likened it to Kevin Bacon being the first death in Friday the 13th. She wanted that connection, but it kind of worked out for her. Days of Our Lives. She's on 400 plus episodes. She has a book out called All the Girls in Town. Great chat. If you haven't listened to that, wait until after this review and then go check it out. But yeah, I'm always excited to talk Friday the 13th. And it's my favorite franchise, and I love talking it with my co-host. So I have to introduce you to my partner in the sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Doug, how are you doing?
I'm pretty good. I was thinking about it. There's a lot of these movies, and we were just talking about the next sequel that we're going to be covering, how there's like at least 10 of them. Like there's 12 of these. How many, off the top of your head, how many have we covered? Number wise?
5.
7.
We've covered 7?
Yeah.
Well,
isn't that crazy? 4,
it is crazy.
5.
4, 5.
7 this week.
Okay.
8, 9.
Did we do Jason X?
Jason X.
Okay.
And Freddy vs. Jason.
Well, I have to tell you, I think this might be the worst one.
What?
Oh, well, no, I shouldn't say that. Jason Goes to Hell might be the worst one, I think, but this is up there. And you know, unfortunately, I watched this one twice in the last, few months because by accident I watched the wrong one a while ago. So
I have that clip, so I have to put that out there.
So as I'm watching this, I'm like, this movie looks familiar. And then I realized I sat through it once before, and now it's the second time I sat through it. I'll tell you why. One, I think, first of all, I think the acting in this movie was horrendous all around. There weren't any, and I mean any, there weren't any likable characters at all. Like, I wasn't cheering for anybody. I think there was a lot of overacting. And I just think I feel like it was a forced Jason movie. Like, I don't even know. I don't know. I just think it just wasn't good. It wasn't good. I mean,
you didn't like Bad News Cruz? You don't think he was a good guy?
I hated everybody. And, he
might be the worst adult that, like, we've seen a lot of adults in these movies, like, in all horror movies, like, manipulate to get something. What he was trying to do, which to me, he seems like, I don't know, a guy that has, like, a little office in, like, a doctor building, little office, and he has his opportunity to, like, come upon this discovery of, like, telekinetic powers, and he's, like, trying to harness it by sort of ruining this girl's life.
Well, I mean, we have a lot to talk about Kaiser. I mean, a lot to talk about him, just his tactics and everything else. The mom is no angel either. So, and we'll get into that. I mean, she's definitely a very poor parent. I mean, if there's any likable character, I guess Tina, you feel bad for her.
I like Nick. I think Nick was a pretty good.
Yeah. But I mean, okay, let's be honest. He knew Tina for what? A day? 2 days? After everything that she was doing and what was going on, how long would you stay? I mean, he really didn't. I mean, right. I mean, so like he didn't really know her, and he's acting like this is his girlfriend for the last 5 years. We got to really dig in. But yeah, I don't know. This movie, I'll tell you right now, the one thing I didn't like, and to me, it's one of the most iconic kills that he has, is the sleeping bag kill. Right? That's like, yes. Swinging at the tree. That's a great. But I mean, I don't know. We'll talk about it. I just feel like it was just, I don't know. I feel like it was outside of Kaiser. It was just a very silly plot all around.
No, it definitely was. I love this. Again, I don't watch Friday the 13th for, oh man, I really want that good storyline, which I know some of them do. Like 4 has a great story. Yep. 6 is silly that a lightning bolt brings them back. And like most of them are kind of silly. But the one thing I do love about this one was you had a special effects guy directing it, John Buechler. He got screwed by the ratings. Like this is one movie. If they had an unrated version, and you could watch like all the kills, dude, you got to watch behind the scenes. You have to watch it. And any listeners, it's on YouTube. They don't have a lot of it because they Paramount like got rid of the footage. But God, some of the kills that we only saw like little snippets of were so brutal and great special effects. So he turned this movie into a stunt movie. Dude, you see Jason doing things in this movie that you never could see, and Kane crushes it.
So here's the thing. So, and I think that's part of the problem. Like, to me, the minute he takes that mask off, it ruins Jason for me. Because now it's like it's a monster. It's not Jason. Like, you know, like because they really made him look like a monster. And it's almost like there was a monster hiding behind the mask, not Jason. And I think that, to me, yes, everybody wants to see what he looks like, but then to me, I think it backfires. I think he just looks like a monster, you know. And there's a lot of questionable things that happen that don't make sense at all. And, you know, like, I mean, the father and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's so much that we can uncover. And again, Jason doing things that now you know what he looks like. There's no way he should be doing half the things he's doing. He's a monster.
Yeah. Especially the fact that, but one thing that was cool, Beekler watched all the movies and all the hits to Jason, and he made sure the body, like the makeup, had all of them. And I love the exposed back. But one thing we have to talk about right off the jump is, like, let's talk about the opening scene, then talk about what happens. Like, what happens?
You mean the 10-minute of basically just talking about the previous movie? I mean, literally.
Well, that's what's great about these. The beginnings are always so cool. Whoever does that voice, I don't know who that is, but I really think that's the same guy that he definitely does it in the other movies. But he does the intro in 8, like the story.
But how long was this movie? Did this movie come out before? I mean, after the last previous movie?
I
mean, I'm assuming not that long. Okay. Do you really need? So people that are watching that are Friday 13th, you know, fans, do they really need a recap that's 10 minutes long about the previous movie? You know, and they literally, I mean, they went through the whole story. I mean, it wasn't like a quick, like, it was like, yes, it was cool to reminisce, but I just saw the movie a year ago. I need to recap, you know? I mean, I don't know. I think it was filler.
Did Livs have a thing like that?
I don't think so.
I feel like Livs got right to it. I feel like the beginning of that, because of what happened in 5, I think Livs jumped right into it. But,
all right.
So why don't we follow suit? Let's jump right into it.
Okay.
And, so we get Jennifer Banco, who hopefully one day we get her on the podcast, but we remember her as the creepy girl from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 that is in Viggo Mortensen's like sister or daughter. That family's like so incest. But dude, do drunk people, I don't think we have any alcoholic dads listening, but if you are, or if you had one, I'm sorry, but can you tell us, did they ever say lines like, "Hey baby, you want to party?"
Yeah, you know, it's definitely a trope you see in a lot of these movies, especially horror movies. But at first, the girl looked like the girl from Poltergeist. The little girl.
She has her look, yeah.
I really thought it was her, and then I forgot that unfortunately she died, so it couldn't have been her. But I mean, just they really make the dads, like the alcoholic dads, so creepy in all these movies.
Hey, have a drink, join the party. And then she runs away. One thing I have to say is the title card, one line I did like was the voiceover. It was kind of creepy because it's so true. And that's why I think hopefully the 13th movie that they do, which I hope is October 13th of 2023, that's the next one after January, would be to bring back all the people that survived. Because one of the lines that the guy says is, "Few have seen him and lived." I'm like, oh man, I want that to happen so bad. But back to it. She runs away. They live on Crystal Lake, of course. And she runs out to the boat. She takes the boat pretty quick. And that dock, right? Wasn't it really high up?
Yeah, it was. But however, it was close to the land. So like what happens? He drowns. How deep is that water right there? Right? I mean, that's first of all. But okay, so before we even get there, so they live on Crystal Lake, which is a camp. So why are they living on Crystal Lake? Right? I mean, isn't that a campsite? Like where? Because it's the only house there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's a house next door.
Okay.
Where the other high
Well,
school
it's
kids
like a
are,
guest.
college
That's
kids?
like a guest house almost. It's like okay,
Sort
okay,
of, yeah.
Okay, but they're living at Crystal Lake. This Jason's been around now for what 6 movies at this point.
Yep.
So
5.
Okay, 5 movies. Tons of murder that's been happening. She's living on Crystal Lake, yet as she's older, she's never heard of Jason Voorhees.
Well, so that's the next point.
Okay.
So I'm not saying that people should forget when there's a time jump, but after she kills her dad by shaking her head and doing like a, Elizabeth from.
Okay. So how did his father die? Because he basically just like the way that the dock fell, it just collapsed. Like it was, and like I said, like the dock wasn't a long dock, so it was close to the shore. I can't imagine it being that deep there. And even if it was, you're telling me the guy drowned. His house is on the water. Why would you buy a house on the water if you can't swim?
Well, I'm sure he could swim. Maybe he was so wasted. Come on, babe. And then he fell, hit his head, and boom.
Yeah.
Concussed. Gonzo.
All right.
And then everybody's screaming, and then we cut to her in the car with her mom.
Yeah.
But dude, the thing that's crazy about the whole thing is the time jump. So we know like there's certain things we know in these movies, like when Jason was born. I don't know if we ever know that it's 1980 in that first one, but so she's like 11 or 12. I think that's what they sort of say. And then I think they say like this is 7 years ago or 8 years ago. So she's 18, 19. So this is like the 90s.
Right.
Essentially. So that's like that huge of a time jump. I'm not saying they could make people forget about Jason, but no one knows about him.
That's what I mean. And okay, forget. You're telling me, and they're partying on Crystal Lake, which again, I still don't understand why it's not closed down. I mean, you've had murder, 5 years of multiple murders on this one site. Why would you leave it open?
Oh, I got the answer. You know who the mayor is? Mayor Vaughn from he retired from
Jaws. Oh, I mean, but seriously, like, why would that stay open? Why would why would you want to live there? I mean, let alone clearly they don't know what's going on in the first place, which again doesn't make sense. That no one has ever heard of Jason, who's murdered 5 years of people.
Yeah,
and would you say at least 20 people? So okay,
a lot more than that. No, at least 10, 15 a movie. So he's killed like 75 people. So I don't know.
You're talking about the ultimate serial killer, and no one's heard of him. I don't think so. Yeah, that's ridiculous. So okay.
Oh, we have to be right. It's 2, 3, 4. He's not in 5.
Oh, okay.
6. So this is only his 5th movie.
There was murder. It's still a Crystal Lake on 5, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So
that's even scarier. I think. No, whoa! It wasn't even Jason that killed it. Just some rando that was an ambulance driver started killing. Holy shit, honey, we're moving.
I mean, yeah. Clearly, there's a lot of bad luck in this. I don't even want to say town. It's an area. It's like they all die in the same area. Why would you live there? And why are they allowed to live there? Like, And
it's like it's the only lake left in the world.
Okay. So they're living there. However, they don't fix the dock in 15 years. So they just leave that dock that fell in the water. It's still broken into the water.
And that must be a family home because just a single parent. I don't know if she can afford that and paying for living in the city. And then they've never been back there. Okay, that's the way they made it sound.
Okay. So I was going to say that too. So, okay. So she's now 18, even though everybody looks like they're in the mid to high 20s in this movie. Yeah. But okay. So she's 18. So you're telling me the mom has not been there since since the father died? No. I mean, it looks like she's been living there all this time.
It's not dusty.
It's not dusty. The electricity's still on. I mean, there's food there. I mean, like, so maybe she is living there. But then that makes it even worse that she still doesn't know that. I mean, she's an adult. She doesn't know about the murders that have been there.
Yeah, the only time it really happens. Well, Dr. Cruz knows because he has that in the newspaper. But in that drawer, that makes no sense. In the drawer that she found the newspaper article was her dad's gun. Okay, from all those years before. So. Did Cruz put the articles on top of the gun and then just like whose articles were they? Were they the dad's articles?
Yeah, I know. It's well, again, there's a lot in this house because I mean, even the weapon later on that goes missing. First of all, I don't even know what that wet thing was. I thought it was like a piece of like metal that was like a shelving. It was like, was that a weapon? Like,
all those things that we kept saying. There were tent spikes.
That's what it was. That's a tent spike.
Yeah, that's how our friend Stacy Greason died.
I know how she died, but like, how do you know the tent spike? The thing that was in the wall that was missing.
Yeah, that's the tent spike. Yeah, because she's supposed to be setting up the tent when for some reason Billy Butler goes to pee really far away.
Yeah, well,
wasn't like he's dumping.
Yeah, well, but there's no way that's a tent. Look at the size of that thing.
That's an old back in the day tent spike.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
that
weapon was used multiple times in this movie,
and there was more than one. All right.
We need 4 tent spikes.
I know, but I mean, that thing was massive. I mean, I don't think that was a tent spike. That doesn't make sense. Why would you have? You wouldn't be able to get that in the ground. It's too big.
Sharp.
Oh, forget it.
Just knock it in.
All right.
Didn't
whatever.
Tina's mom remind me of like every gym teacher in the 80s and 90s.
Can we bring that hairstyle back? Oh my goodness. Yeah, you know what? She was awful. Like I said, I think it's a trope in every horror movie that the parents, or I shouldn't even say parents, adults in general, are awful people. Awful. Because
like she had no idea that her daughter was in a psychiatric for really no reason.
And
he
her
was
daughter,
basically manipulating her.
Her daughter was being tortured. Like, I mean, she was miserable. She thinks that, I mean, the way Kaiser talks to her, like, is unbelievable. Like, I wonder if he really has a license. Because he looks like he doesn't have any bedside manner whatsoever with this situation.
No,
he's not sensitive to anything. And his plan is to live with them?
Yeah.
Like, which I was questioning, like, why is he living there with them?
I don't know. What? Yeah, no, so ridiculous. But so then we meet the group of unsuspecting teens when they pull up. And I would say the one that I think is the best out of all of them, her role-wise, Melissa.
Which one?
She played the perfect bitch with the pearls, the blonde.
Oh. Yeah, but very unlikable though. I mean, yeah, she played.
No, I know that's what I mean. But she nailed that role. Yeah,
they do. I mean, you get the stoners. I mean, it's like again the same type. It's funny how every movie has the group of every personality, and always like there's never just like all the same, like all the jocks. It's always you have one of each. It's like a game of Clue. There's always one of each and every. Yeah, I mean it is funny to see how each movie how they portray the same exact characters but in different ways. But how about the fact that when she drops her suitcase, it was basically all underwear.
I know.
Like I didn't.
How long were they going away for?
But is she not wearing like it was? I watched this movie twice, and it was funny. I went back and looked at my notes the first time. I was comparing them to this time, and I basically have the same notes each time. But I wrote that down twice. For the first time, it's like, does she only pack underwear and doesn't eat any other clothes?
Well, what did he take? That was like a nightie, right?
What?
That he
no,
pressed?
It was underwear. He picked up underwear.
No, he didn't press.
Yes, he
underwear.
did. Yes,
no. When he brought that over, and he said, "I washed it." It was like on a hanger.
I think it was underwear.
That's a big pair of underwear.
She wears what's it called?
Bloomers. Parachute.
This was the 80s. What was this?
This is 80s. Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, it follows the rules.
Okay. So they forced the rule in this movie so ridiculous when it happens.
Yeah.
It was like an oopsie. Just to show, just to make sure they get the rule.
Yeah, it's almost like the censors really like. I'm not saying there was definitely more than that, but man, they like cut the crap out of this movie.
Oh, and I think that's I think that's another reason why I feel like the movie wasn't that good because I felt like every kill was staring at the camera as if the camera was Jason. So you're seeing it from the point of view of the victim. You don't really see the kills. Like it's like you see the camera and you see the fear in their face and then like the camera moving towards them and they're moving back and it's like it made it look so cheesy. Like it was very cheesy. I feel like the way it was done from looking at it from Jason's point of view.
Yeah. No, the way they cut it. So yeah, if you watch you'll see like the finished product or some photos of like what it was. And then we get to some of the kills. I'll
Okay.
talk about like some of them like that they provided some like little behind the scenes. But yeah, so then we meet some of the people, hopefully another future guest, Heidi Haddad, who her kill in this movie. So remember when I was just thinking about this when I was watching it last night, when we covered Jason Takes Manhattan, I had my buddy Tom on. I remember there was like so much foreshadowing when he was like, oh, well,
the guitar and everything. No, of course. Yeah.
Well, the guitar was like a simple one that you and I could figure out. But there was like some of these in this movie. I swear with like Heidi's character, she talked about like swimming, like I can't swim or I'm not the best swimmer. But then I was like, oh, maybe that makes no sense because she swam pretty far out before her death was kind of like, that was kind of disappointing. I'm sure they had something more than that.
I guess. I mean, yeah, it was. I mean, but why wouldn't you go swimming naked in the middle of the night?
Why not? And it's foggy. You've got to do that.
I mean, it's like, and you see this in every movie. I don't like putting my toes in a lake that during the day, let alone late at night, you're going to go swimming. And she basically went by herself because he was taking forever to get out there. So
what was he doing? How hard is it for a guy to take, like,
I know.
If a girl's naked in the lake, you go in. Obviously, I'm not going to do that, but
it took him a long, well, so that's the other thing. So they're all camping in the woods, for who knows how long. Why are they all dressed up? Like they're all like wearing button-down shirts, dressed.
Well, it's a birthday party. It's supposed to be.
Okay, you're staying. Yeah, but they wore dress clothes the entire trip, or the 2 days that they lasted. But I'm going to the woods. I'm wearing work boots and jeans. Party or not, you tell me they have to be fancy at a cabin that's right by a lake.
Well, they had all the balloons set up. They had really
they had two balloons. They had two balloons in the kitchen door.
And they had party horns because that's used later in the movie.
Oh my goodness. It's ridiculous.
So now we're at so then right away, that's what I love about these movies versus Michael Myers. Like there's so many times Michael Myers takes a while to show up in some of the movies. At least in this, I'm really referencing more Halloween Ends.
Yeah.
But in this movie, boom, I don't even know what minute 15, she summons him out of the lake. He comes out, you see the skeleton, you see his spine. He just looks like, and Kane's a big dude. Like he's like a hulking guy. The other guys were kind of older.
Yeah.
He was jacked.
But okay, so what's her powers? I mean, I thought it was telepathy, right? But
telekinesis.
Okay, so telekinesis. So she could also raise the dead?
Well, as we know, Jason just needs a little spark.
Okay, well, but it has nothing to do with telekinesis. I mean, like, she does some things here that are just not telekinesis throughout the whole movie. So I was wondering, like, and she raises the dead twice.
She does. Yeah. She's good at that. It's almost like maybe she could target it. Like, why the first time did she not raise her dad the first time?
Well,
that would have changed the whole movie.
It would have changed the whole movie, but she struggles so mightily in the beginning of the movie of knowing how to even use her powers, and somehow halfway through she becomes a pro at it.
Because she's so angry, I think. Well, when she really knows her powers is after she sees the vision of her mom dying. That's when she really is unleashing everything. But the matchbook, because Cruz is like pissing her off, and then she's able to light that. Dude, the TV flying.
Yeah, but that was because that was uncontrolled. Like I think like that was because she was so angry, Yeah. But she uses it so much at the end with Jason, like her battle. She controlled it like she's been controlling it for years.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole point of her going to this, living with a doctor, is to learn how to control it. So basically, the whole doctor situation didn't need to happen. She could control it on her own if she just practiced.
Yeah, and I don't even know, was he there? I don't think he was really trying to control it because she had one incident. There wasn't any, and when he was talking to her, it's not like he's like, well, Tina, over the last 7 years in my care, in 3 years ago, you did this, 2 years ago, you did that. It was like he was just trying to take what happened 7 years ago and use that. So she didn't really do anything with it before then.
But then what was his purpose there then?
he wanted to use what that happened 7 years ago to be able to like manipulate it, because he like when he's watching the tape, which is so ridiculous, that he filmed her doing the matchbook, and within in the house when other people were there, he's recording a voiceover about, yeah, if I just make sure I anger her. And
well, first of all, he basically started her therapy within 5 minutes of her being there. Like, he didn't waste any time. But I mean, I think he was going to use her as like a meal ticket. Like, all right, now we're gonna show the world what you can do, and I'll be your agent, kind of thing. You know what? So I mean, that was his goal. But like, I mean, he was trying to get her to be able to control it. But again, she does it on her own times 10, times 100.
Yeah.
Later on. So all right.
And I do love it. Like, as ridiculous as it is that it happened, what they do with the stunts and the special effects for the final act.
Yeah.
I know you don't like to rip it in the mask, which we'll get into all that later, but it just looks so.
No, yeah, yes, I agree. But once again, somehow Jason's mask looks so clean. Everything else on him is like hanging off, but the mask never gets dirty. And even at the end of the movie, when they find it, it's clean. It's ripped, but it's clean. Like it's just like it's the breakable. Well, I should say breakable, but undirty, mask.
It's dude that should have been a commercial for recycling. Like, plastics last forever, so you got to make sure that you recycle. And then you could have Jason in the ad. You could have Kane Hodder like drop the.
So what? Drop his mask and he's recycling his mask?
Yeah,
that's so dumb.
That'd be a good PSA. And then Freddie could do one for matches. Like, kids shouldn't play with matches.
No, I think if anything, Jason could do like Ginsu knives. That would be a better commercial.
Late night.
That's not a knife, and then he brings out his knife.
Wait, it's Paul Dundee. And then he goes, that's not a knife. And then Jason machetes his arm, and he goes, and then he doesn't say anything. Maybe like bubbles come up, like thought bubbles. Oh my God. So Tina summons him, and oh my God, dude. So then we can get to the Michael and Jane. So Michael and Jane are on the way there. She, like she said herself, she had the big hair when she was in the 80s, and her line to him was like, when was the last time you put oil in it? If somebody said that to me, I'd be like, I don't know. When I got an oil change, when do I don't think I have to add oil.
Yeah, why was that the first
time?
Thing that she said? Like, that was the first thing like she thought of. And I love the fact that they're like, yeah, let's just stop here and camp right here.
Well, not even that. Not even camp right here. They walked like for a while. Like, we saw them on camera walk for a while.
Okay. So the woods there in this of Camp Crystal Lake might be the largest set of woods, like a setting of woods I've ever seen, because people seem to walk forever in this movie in the woods.
Yeah.
And literally, like, they're not that far from the house, but everybody's walking, and somehow they never see or hear anything, yet there's no leaves in a tree. Like, when they showed like the video of the woods, it's open. It's like really open. No one hears anything or sees anything the entire movie.
That's true.
I mean, and you again, Jason is a monster who's huge. He might walk the most silent way I've ever seen anyone walk, because he's in the woods and not every single person's surprised by him.
He's like the Seidler.
He doesn't step on one twig, one leaf ever.
I feel like the only time he ever steps on anything in these movies, because he does it in this one, I think he does it on purpose to like scare him. Maybe he gets like a kick out of it, like when they hear he's like, oh, I'm gonna step on this right here. And then the people turn, and then he's there just waiting for them.
Well, he does it in front of them, but like, again, the woods are pretty far. How is he like getting there so quietly every time? Every time, like they're all surprised to see him. Okay, all right.
It'd be so bad if that was the movie. It's like, holy shit! Do you hear that guy from so far away? Let's run. The end. They're able to get away so quick. Well, and he's not. And even when he sneaks in the house, he's not that. He takes big steps. No, he's not like tiptoeing in the house.
Well, you could see him tiptoeing.
That'd be funny.
That
Little,
would
like
be
Fred
funny.
Flintstone. Doot.
But it would it matter if they were trying to run away because he always catches up to them anyway. So I don't think it really matters. So all right.
They'll trip. They'll trip for sure.
I would like to see Jason fall once. Like he's never fallen.
See him fall once?
Yeah.
No, that'd be funny, right?
I mean, Freddy Krueger's always falling. Like he's always like he's always like tripping on something, like which makes it because he's almost like part human, in that aspect. So it is funny. Jason never stumbled. He's like a ninja. He's quiet and never takes a wrong step.
Never falls. Oh man, so we kind of like talked about this before. So when we get how about the line that Michael says when Jane says when he says to Jane, "Let's camp here." She's like, "Here?" And he goes, "Woods or woods?"
Yeah. So ridiculous. No way. So you're going to a non-campsite. So there's no lights at all, like anywhere. It has to be so dark there, and you're just going to go randomly and park right there. Yeah. And not for nothing, they can't be that far from the house because they find the bodies when they're going through the woods. So they have to be pretty close to the house.
Oh yeah, they're not that far, and they even walk past the Camp Crystal Lake sign that's knocked over,
right?
Covered in brush.
So at that point, why wouldn't you just walk to the house? I mean,
it's like they didn't. I don't think they've ever been there before because it was a buddy's house that was like kind of new. It was Russell, the one that was with Sandra, the tall, like skinny dude,
right?
But yeah, I don't know. I would have like tried because it seemed like they were super close.
Yes,
and then I think even later in the movie when Tina's driving away, she drives past a car, but it's not their car. But in my head, I'm like, maybe they like moved it because wasn't it like a van? I feel like it was like a VW van.
No, they weren't in a van.
Oh, they were in a car?
Yeah. Maybe they only had a budget. Maybe they only had the budget for the car for one day, so they figured, you know what? We have to use another car. Maybe the audience won't know.
No, you're right. No. It was then if it was a car,
it had to be the car.
When Tina was terribly driving away later, she drove past it. But no. So here's the thing. So Michael, like if I'm somewhere that I don't know, I'm not gonna be like if I'm peeing, I'll be like, I'm gonna pee real quick. Maybe like I'll do like 2 big steps away from my wife. I'm not going to walk so far away that I'm like shouting.
Yeah, this is your girlfriend. You can't pee in the tree right like a couple of, yeah, I mean, it made no sense. He really went
not even for common courtesy.
Yeah.
Like if he was saying, oh, common courtesy, how about like you can't look at her and you're in somewhere that you've never been before? Like something can happen, like animals, not even like thinking about Jason because nobody knows who Jason is, but something can happen to her. No, I'm going to walk off and look in the opposite direction.
Yeah. Well, maybe he got pee shy.
Maybe he does, yeah. Oh my God. But no, then her kill, she's standing there. Jason creeps up, puts his dirty hand over her mouth, and then does, again, a 10 spike through the back of the tree, which is seriously, that must be super sharp. I know he's super strong, but then it goes through her throat and boom, she's done.
I have to question if that's a 10 spike because you're going to tell me back then every 10 has the exact same spikes.
I'm sure there was different kinds of spikes.
The mom they found the exact same one in the drawer.
Well, no, that was the one that Jason took that and put it at the house.
No, they were 2 separate ones because one had blood on it and one was at the house. They were 2 separate ones.
He probably took the other ones.
Oh, he did not.
He collects them along the way. He needs more weapons.
Oh.
He grabs whatever he can.
He uses so many different weapons in this movie. It's like ridiculous.
I love it. I know. I kind of like Kane said that like when he was like doing some of the scenes, he was like, "Oh, that'll be cool to use."
No, and
like
no, go ahead.
No, say the one at the end with like Dr. Cruz. Yeah. He's like, I didn't even know that was a real thing. He goes, I've never seen one since, but I saw it in the shed where we were filming.
Well, that we discussed that. Like, Nightmare on Elm Street does the same thing. Like each kill is different. Jason always has different types of kills. It's not just Michael Myers is the same thing every time. Like I feel like it's a very, for the most part, it really is. So that's why, I think these movies stand out because they're very different. The way how the character is.
No, 100%.
Michael Myers.
So then, whoa, Michael Myers just turned off the podcast. So then we get so Jane's dead. Michael comes walking back, and dude, his kill is pretty cool. Again, 10 spike. He takes it out from Jane, throws it through Michael's back. Boom.
Okay, which is ridiculous. I mean, because Michael had to run again. First of all, he didn't hear his girlfriend at all get killed. He wasn't. I mean,
He covered her mouth.
Okay. So again, and he's running. He's running in the woods. There's trees everywhere, and somehow Jason could throw that, you say, 10 spike right perfectly in his back.
He's that good. He's should be a little rusty in some of the things that he does in this movie, since he has been soggy for like 7 years. He's been just like
soggy. He's been dead for several years.
Yeah.
I mean, he also climbs a lot in this movie because somehow
when he jumps through the window is awesome.
Well, it is awesome, but I mean, I question, would a zombie really jump like that? I mean, it was very human-like with the way he did it. But I'm talking about the fact that he climbs trees, because how many bodies fall from the sky in this movie?
Oh, I know.
So you're telling me Jason's climbing a tree, holding a body, and placing them so they happen to fall when someone's there? Like, he does it multiple times.
And then letting go. Like it's like balloons. That's so great. It lands right on like Maddie's head.
And
so here's
wait, hold on. So you think if Jason had a laugh, that's what he would sound like?
No, I can't do it right now, but I would think it'd be like from Wacky Races. Yes. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Or where's Jason's from New Jersey? I was gonna say if he was like a Southern guy, like a real Southern laugh, but
yeah, I can't see that. No. Oh boy.
But anyway, so then there's like 3 lines that Dr. Cruz has in this movie that are like beyond, like, I'm telling you, out of all the adults in any of the horror movies you've ever done, and that even includes in Nightmare on Elm Street when the parents are putting sleeping pills in their kid to make him sleep. Dude, when Nick comes over to invite her over to the party and she leaves and and Dr. Cruz goes, "Oh, where's Tina? Oh, she got invited by the boy next door to a party." And he's like, "Oh, I thought no distractions. I'd hate to send her back to the hospital." And he says it like with his eyebrows. I'm like, whoa.
He is awful. He's I mean, the fact that when she's trying to push the I forget what she was trying to push in the beginning, and he's like yelling at her. And then she's like, "I can't do it." And he's like, "You're lying." Like, he's like screaming, "You're lying to her." Like, this poor girl is a complete mess. He is awful. He is awful.
Oh my God. Absolutely awful. Yeah. So let's talk about some of the characters that we see at the party.
Hold on. And there's one other thing. I don't know if we passed it yet. When she said that one of the big things why he's doing what he's doing at Crystal Lake is because the guilt over over your father's death is a powerful thing, or something like that. Like he was throwing her father's death in her face. Like, that's how awful he is.
A monster.
He's a monster.
He's worse than Jason. He deserved it.
He's the real villain.
He's the true villain in this movie. So so then we get some of the characters. I have the list of them. We don't have to go through every single one, but Eddie, who ended up that, like, after this, like, he was a big voice actor in like a lot of cartoons, but he's like the writer of a knockoff Star Trek movie.
He was such a geek.
And he's like sort of stoned, I think, and he's just like rambling on about this screenplay that he wrote.
It is the most bizarre group of people, the way they're all acting. Like, they're all just the guy's wrapping himself in ribbons, and the girl that looked like the girl that plays Lisa on The Simpsons, there with the glasses, the little.
Well, that's Heidi. Yeah.
Okay, Heidi.
Like, who plays Sandra? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many, like, just the way they all acted at this house. It was just bizarre behavior.
Yeah,
bizarre.
David, who was like the kind of greaser looking kid, and I was going to ask you about this line. I don't know if this is a line back in the day. Not saying you obviously were young in the 80s, but the line that they say when he comes up to like grab a beer, she goes, "Oh, outrageous."
I don't think I've never used that line before.
And he can't chug. How would that guy get a girl after that? And the way he like chugs a beer, he pulled it out of the fridge. Nobody shook that up. So I don't know how that happened, but that would be like, no way. Like, that guy's going to party foul.
Yeah, no, like I said, they all. I feel like it was a group of people that in the real world would never get along. Like they're so everybody was so opposite. Outside of maybe the stud guy that likes Tina and the girl with the pearls, like obviously they were in the cool crowd, but they wouldn't be hanging out with half these people. No way.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. Almost like there was a couple people that were really good friends. You had like the couple, and then you had like Maddie and Robin were friends. I liked Robin. She's the one who had the quick, like gratuitous, hey, let's get boobs in this movie. Yeah. But no, you had like these different people. So it almost seemed like that, but they didn't let us know, like, hey, I never knew him. Like if they would have used that, then we would have been like, okay, that's why they kind of don't all click, because they really don't know each other and they're only there for Michael.
But even the couple in the van, like they had a very short storyline. Like, I mean, I almost forgot about them. Like they really, like you barely saw them in the movie, even before the van scene, you didn't see much of them. Like it was just very, like you saw them just like a little arguing and that's it. It was like, I feel like, they focused on obviously like the main three people at the party, but yeah.
Okay. No, they only argue. We saw them argue because Ben ended up like he said he was doing something else and he was hanging out with Michael, and then she was pissed about it for like most of the movie until they got into the van, and then the van was rocking, and well, we'll get to that later. But yeah, so like everyone there has like their own little thing.
Yep.
But I'm telling you, like Melissa, she was an actress, like she passed away, but in the behind the scenes, everybody says like she was the nicest person. So she played like a polar opposite of herself. But dude, how cruel she was to Tina and what she did to Eddie.
Yeah.
And her kill up for me is like top 10 all time because it's just so cool. Like that scene is just so rad.
Yeah. No, she did play that role very well. I mean, but like I said, I at this party, to me, there wasn't a likable character. They were just all annoying and just like I wasn't a fan.
So, what do you think about the chemistry between Nick and Tina?
Very fast. I get and she felt very comfortable real quick with him. She's dealing with all these issues. She met him for 2 seconds, and then I don't know, and he seemed to give her a lot of attention without really knowing her.
Yeah, it's like because he didn't want to be there. He only knew his cousin. It's like he didn't even know Melissa that well.
Right.
Melissa was like more like a friend of a friend, and she was like, oh, she wanted him. So maybe he like gravitated to her even more because he's like, I want to piss off Melissa. No, but the reason I ask is, so this movie dubbed by the fans is Friday the 13th because a lot of the cast is gay.
Oh, really?
And Nick was gay. And so they said even on set, like some of the actors were like, yeah, they didn't have like a lot of chemistry. And then they found out obviously later, but yeah, like in the fan circles, there's like a bunch of,
wow. That's, that's amazing because like, I'm surprised that they didn't have a gay couple then because like, I would not know. I think they all played a great, like typecast again, but yeah, with Nick, I just, there was crazy written all over Tina, like every scene. Why? There's no way in real life any guy who just met this girl who's running out screaming out of a house, weird things are happening every time she's around. There's no way you're staying. There's no way. No way.
No way. No, it's not worth it. Something that crazy, like hearing the stories, like, yeah, my dad died here. I'd be like, oh, no way.
I mean, couples break up when one's crazy after dating for 2 years.
I've dated one, yeah.
So this is someone that you just met at. Literally, I think the whole relationship is 2 days, right? Everything takes place in 2 days, I think.
Is it even that long?
Well, because it's nighttime at the party and then the next day. So it's definitely 2 days.
Yeah, okay.
And then at nighttime is the next day. So I think it's only 2, not even 2. I mean, 2 days. There's no way. He can't be that good of a guy to keep hanging around. That's,
Yeah. So then we have Tina has like a flashback and, oh no, when the kid starts, when he drinks the beer and he starts coughing, then she sees Michael dead. She sees like
the cousin dead.
The whole
Correct.
Michael. Yeah. So she sees like that vision. So she runs back. She has another flashback of her dad, sees the tent spike in the door, runs in time to see Dr. Cruz. And then
Okay,
It's just the mark. We don't see him take that
no,
as the audience.
No, you
So
don't.
He was pretty quick.
So you're telling me, besides telekinesis, she also could raise the dead and she could see the past.
She has visions.
Okay, all right, okay.
She's a jack of all trades.
She
I don't
really
know
is.
if Carrie could do that. I don't know if Carrie could see the
Do
past.
they explain why she has all these powers at all? Like, I mean,
No.
I mean, it just seems like very out there. Like, you know, because in all these movies, you know, obviously they're all normal people, and then all of a sudden you have this girl who has basically every single power that's out there.
She's a Marvel. She's a superhero.
She's the original Marvel. Okay.
She's Miss Marvel.
Okay.
So then we do the what they did in. Well, I guess they sorted it in 5, but they do it every so often in these movies. You get these rando people that we don't even care about. They're just there for dying.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Like in Jason Lives, the paintball people. We don't care about those. They're just there for the scene. And that's what we get with the couple. And then the boyfriend has to go get some wood. He goes all by himself. And dude, this shows how strong Beekler made Jason in this one. Dude, the fact that he punches him
Yeah.
through the chest and he's dead.
Well, the guy in Temple of Doom does the same thing.
He does, yeah.
So I mean, you know, I guess it's. I think it's like a Bruce Lee thing. Like it's like all how you know the angle you do it. The pressure. You know, like anybody could do that.
It's like ripping throats out in Roadhouse. There's a
okay.
There's a little twist of the finger.
I really wonder if that's possible to rip someone's throat out. Like,
I don't know.
what do you think is harder to
That's
do? Rip someone's throat out or punch through the chest?
Oh, punch to the chest.
You think it's harder?
Oh yeah, to get through all that's got to be so hard. To rip a throat's hard too, but at least you're only, I don't know, even just holding that.
Yeah,
oh my
but okay,
God.
but you're ripping the throat with your like fingers. So like you're telling me your fingers are that strong to pull, you know, the throat out? Like I would think
like claws.
I would think that's harder to do is pull the throat out because you're using fingertips.
True.
Okay.
If anybody's ever pulled a throat out or punched through somebody in the chest, add sequels only on social media. Drop us a line. So here is the scene of all scenes, like you talked about. So I have to obviously patch that in real quick.
This is definitely a top 5, I would say, kill in Friday movies.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. She's like, oh yeah.
By the way, this is also one of the biggest sleeping bags I've ever seen. I mean, when he drags her out there.
Well, they had to make it big because there's a bucket of blood in there. It was like 20 pounds, and the sensors made them cut it. They had it at like 5 hits, and then 4, then 3, and they were like, it can only hit once and then drop. So that's what we got reduced to. So that's all we ended up getting from that.
No, that's an idea.
Man, so
the way he swings that. I mean, talk about power. Lifting up a body and just swinging it like a baseball bat, hard enough to knock her out dead.
They revisit that, which one we got to cover the latest one, the 12th one. They do that in the opening scene. Oh my God.
Oh.
He like cooks the girl in it and then slams her into a tree. It's amazing.
Wait, he cooks a girl?
He like hangs her over the fire and then
while she's alive?
Oh yeah, while she's alive and she's like screaming and then he hits her against a tree a bunch of times. Yeah.
This is again, knowing what he looks like with his mask off, he's that creative. He's a monster. He's a monster. He doesn't have a brain in there anymore. How is he able to do things like this?
Smart.
It's so stupid.
He regenerates. Maybe
Smart.
like each kill you get a little bit of a brain.
Smart.
back.
He died when he was 8 years old. So his brain is of an 8-year-old. And now a monster.
His body grew, so maybe his brain grew too.
Okay, your brain could grow, but if you have no knowledge being put in there, you're not getting anything.
You see like scenes in like if they did like a prequel and it's like Jason at the public library like with his head down.
It's like, all right, the proper ways to kill someone with a sleeping bag. And he's like scrolling through and what?
Oh my God, that's amazing. So yeah, so we get them, they're done. He chopped wood, he's dead, she's dead. And yeah, so then now it's the next morning. They all party. Now they're really wondering where Michael is. Nick and Tina are having like a nice little Andy Griffith opening, throwing stones at the water.
Okay, wait. So you're telling me they're there for this guy? Is it Mark? Mark, right?
Michael.
Oh, Michael. Okay. So he's there for Michael, his birthday. They're partying all night, not once questioning where Michael is.
Well, remember, no, what they said was, man, he probably got another DWI.
Okay, even so. So okay, so you got a DWI. So he's in jail. So they're gonna leave him there. They're there to party with him. They completely forgot about him and just party without him.
Yeah.
Okay. Good friends.
And it was his birthday.
Right. So,
what a birthday present.
Yeah.
Like if he didn't die and they picked him up from the drunk tank, like the next day it's like, guys, why didn't you get me like, I don't know.
Nothing. Okay.
He had one phone call and he didn't call. So
okay. So it's his fault.
It is. Maybe it is his fault.
Okay.
Let's blame him. So yeah, they're tossing the rocks, and then we get. So how about the diss that Melissa says to the other girls about Tina? She says, "Oh, he's out there with Marilyn Munster." I'm like, that's a compliment.
It is
a real compliment.
Yeah, but I don't think she meant it that way. But
I know she did mean it like that.
I know.
I'm like, yeah, Marilyn Munster. If somebody was set me up with a girl like 15 years ago, and they're like, Doug, she's smart. She looks just like Marilyn Munster. I'd be like, oh my God. And then I had to say which Marilyn Munster. I think there was like 4 of them in 2 years.
Would you date someone with the last name Munster?
Yeah, why not?
You would have no problem.
It's okay. I'm going to take her last name if we got
married.
No,
but maybe she keep
Doug Munster.
So, but she keeps her last name. So, yeah, Mrs. Munster. Can you like you're going to hear that a lot.
Miss Munster.
Okay.
Oh man, cheese, Munster cheese. That's all I think about. So then we get like Robin and Maddie, and this is where like Robin is a huge bitch to her. Like Maddie's just trying to like she likes
and
David,
and they seem like good friends. Like in the beginning, like they were talking for a little bit. You know, they were both remarking how cute he is or whatever. And then the other one. Well, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, if you had
oh no, totally.
You know, I mean, so let's, not to be mean, but I mean, the other one really didn't have a chance.
No, I definitely 100% Robin for
it's
the
her
way to say that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
Man, girls can be so cruel. Oh yeah, we're best friends. Oh, you're not pretty enough for him.
Ugh.
Why would you wear makeup?
Well, she's being honest. That's her friend. Oh. I mean, they definitely found the most frumpy girl that they possibly could find for that role.
Oh yeah.
So
then Melissa, like we kind of talked about earlier, like it kind of reminds us like in part 5 when that girl was such a bitch to the guy when she was like, "Oh, you think I would get with you?" so Melissa does that with Eddie, the sci-fi writer, like all over me. He's like, "Really? You really like me?"
Do you think like if a like a good looking girl said that to you, would you like she's talking to you? I would say if you answered that way, she's gonna change her mind immediately. Like if you're gonna be like that, you're done. So like I mean like I think he blew it at that moment. I mean she had no plans to really like him anyway. Obviously she wanted to make the other guy jealous.
She was in bed with him, so she didn't have to make Nick jealous to get into bed with him.
Well, I like how she did that because she said that she was hoping that he would see them together. But so
I know.
So how long do you plan on taking the charade on that? Oh, he hasn't seen me yet. Let's have sex again. It's keep doing it until he walks in. It's like
let's date. Okay, let's move in together. Okay, we're gonna have a kid, and maybe we'll walk in on the delivery room, and I'll be like, Nick.
It's such a Dumb and Dumber 2 situation. Like
Yeah. God damn it. So here, a little story time, because whenever we talk about these random things and I have these stories from my past, I had a girl do that to me when I was 18. There was this gorgeous girl that went to Mount St. Mary's. I don't remember her name. I just remember she looked like, what's her name from Species?
Oh,
like if any of my buddies are listening,
Hendricks?
maybe. Yes, looked like her. So we're at this rich person's party. This girl that
I want to see proof of this. I mean,
She looked like her. I'm
the
not,
girl's pretty hot. So I mean,
well, I don't know where she. I don't know what her name is. But anyway, they had like all these old like wedding dresses and like I think from the girl's house or at like mom's wedding. So there was like wedding dresses and like gowns for like the bridesmaids. So the girl goes, Doug, would you put this on? And I'm just like, she was in a wedding dress already, no joke. So I'm like, yeah, sure. And then she's like, I was like eating out of her hand.
Wait, hold on a second. She asked you to put on a wedding dress?
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, we were like playing beer pong. It was like our team was going to.
Oh, okay.
I know it's silly.
Okay, I thought you were alone with her, and she's saying, "Can you put on?
No.
Can you put Doug? Can you put this on? You're like role playing."
No, it was a huge party, and then she pranked me. I'll say that right now. She goes, Doug, are you hungry? And I'm not even joking. This is like the most effed up thing that somebody ever did to me. She's like, do you want this pasta? And I was like, oh, sure. She's like, I made it for you. I ate it, and it was like full of like the hottest sauce in the world. And I almost couldn't breathe. Oh. It was that bad. So she pranked me.
Wait. So you're more annoyed the fact that she gave you pasta with hot sauce and not the fact that she's making you wear a wedding dress?
That's fine. I'm comfortable in my own skin. That's
okay.
Fine. I've dressed like a girl before for Halloween.
Whose wedding dress was it?
I think it was the girl's mom or something.
What if what if her mom passed away and she's saving that dress as like remembering her mom and you're walking around playing beer pong in it?
Or if I did know that and I went,
okay, wait.
I am the spirit of your mom.
Not only that, how about the fact that you're eating pasta wearing a white wedding dress?
You know?
I mean, can you imagine if you spilled any of that on the
I remember the girl with the fork putting it to my mouth, and I was like leaning forward. I remember as soon as it hit my lips, she's like, "It's good, right?" And I like, and I was like,
"Oh my gosh!"
Yeah, but it was fun. Lots of fun.
Oh yeah, sure, okay.
But yeah, so no, I like these dredging up these memories from my past. So yeah, so then we get. Tina uses her powers kind of like the first time other people see it rather than like Bad News Cruise. She makes the pearls rip off when Melissa's making fun of her.
Yeah, but
how about...
But do they know that she did that? Because right. Okay.
It was kind of like, whoa, what just happened? Like she was angry. Not like anybody thinks that's really going to happen to anybody.
Right, okay.
But then Dr. Cruz pisses off Tina. She throws the TV at him. Tina runs out of the house and then runs into Nick. And then she goes, do you have a picture of your cousin? And
why would he
has a picture of his?
I was questioning, like, why would he have a picture of his cousin in his wallet?
And it wasn't even them together.
It was just weird. Like, why would, I mean, you know, I remember having wallets back in the day that had all those pictures.
Of course.
Right. I don't think I had one picture of any of my cousins, and I have a lot of cousins.
No, it was always empty. It was always empty.
It was mostly empty. I mean, but I don't think I mean, again, I have a lot of cousins. I love my cousins. Never had a picture of them in there. That's a little weird. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it would be weird.
Okay.
You're just sitting there, like when there's no cell phones, like, huh.
It's almost like, let's make a deal. Like, all right, who has a picture of their cousin?
Nick, come on down. Oh my god. So yeah, so then she goes, oh, that is him. She like, I saw him in my vision and I'm sorry, he's dead. And it's like, holy shit. Then we get Sandra and Russell. We talked about them earlier. She goes into the water naked within seconds. And then we get Russell, whose name should have been Chad. Like he reminded me of a Chad.
Absolutely.
His kill's cool. So what they cut, like you said, you only saw like him like swing the thing like a golf club.
Yeah.
And then they cut. So they actually had to go all the way through, like on that same shot, like that wide shot, and the blood like shot up. And then I saw a behind the scenes photo, and his makeup was so cool. It was like his whole face was like had a line in it.
They don't have a video of that anywhere? Like, is there a video?
Oh, I think they have a video of it. Yeah, from that far shot. But I think they had a close-up set up of showing everything, but they cut everything. But that was a cool one. But and then Sandra is like, could you imagine, like, you look back and you see your boyfriend dead, and then you see this creature.
How did he get in the water?
How did he get in the water that fast?
and without making a noise.
Yeah.
I mean, again, he had to have entered somewhere close there. So like,
Yes.
and she didn't seem to really like try to get out of the water.
No, she didn't.
really, I mean, like,
she felt, huh?
She had
did the old,
she had plenty of time to swim back. Or maybe she was embarrassed she had no clothes on.
Maybe she's like, he didn't see me naked, but he pulls her down. And the only thing I did like about the kill was him dragging her body out. I thought that was pretty.
I wrote that down. I'm like, he's dragging a naked girl out of the water.
Yeah, he don't play. He's like, I got to make sure I present the body. Like he's very particular about like presenting
in this movie.
Everything.
He sets up everybody, which
yeah,
I don't know how he has time to do it. Because they are all set up so perfectly. And like I said,
yeah.
I think there's at least 2 in trees that are hanging in trees.
Oh yeah, no, 2 of them. Well, the one is hanging in the tree.
Yeah,
that falls on Maddie.
Yeah,
but then the other ones are like twisted in the tree. Like I think Michael's body. It's so cool the way it looks. Like it's obviously a dummy, and then they do close up. They put his face there, but holy crap!
Why do you think he does that?
I don't know. I don't know who started that. If that's something from the 60s and 70s horror movies, but dude, it like even in like the second and third one, or even the fourth one, because everybody seems to go out of town, or even the fifth one, they go out of town and then they come back. Like the final girl, when they come back, all hell's broken loose and they can't find anybody, but everybody's placed in all these different
but I wonder, like, I mean, in Jason's mind,
his logic,
why do you think he does it? Because he looks like he has no logic whatsoever. He wants to kill anyone that's in the area of Crystal Lake, and that's it. Like that's it. So to place them for whatever reason, I don't know why he would do that.
He's like, I like to have fun, guys. I want to have fun.
So
you want to kill you, at least get a little laugh.
You know what? That makes sense because he's got the mind of an 8-year-old. So he's just he's being silly.
Has like whoopee cushions and like he's trying to get a little laugh at it. Right? Oh man. So then so again, Melissa's fighting with Nick, but then we get Dr. Cruz. We see him at his desk and he opens the drawer and we see him with the tent spike. And then he leaves and he goes walking into the woods because he's like, holy shit, this is real. Like what she saw is actually like real. Like
but he doesn't look panicked though. Like, you know, he knows obviously that now at this point there is a killer here. So why is he still hanging around there? Like, why does he not seem worried?
Yeah, he's just walking around in a sports coat, looking like nothing is like, and he like does like a slow look around, like no fear, but that does give Tina's mom time to snoop into his office, and then she finds a tent spike. She watches the video, hears the voiceover. She knows that he's using her. And then even Dr. Cruz finds, that's the craziest part too. Dr. Cruz finds Russell in a tree with a tent spike and nothing.
And he's still okay with it.
He's still fine with it.
Yeah.
And when he goes back, here's the second terrible line he says, and he has a smirk on his face because the mom's like, she doesn't need to go back to the hospital. And he goes, oh, I need to put her back in the hospital as soon as possible. Like,
whoa. Who has control of her that he's able to do that? Like, you know,
maybe he has like the concert. Maybe he has something signed over to him.
Then shame on the mom. Because I mean, how do you allow your child to be like dragged around by this loony doctor? Like it's ridiculous. Like horrible parenting.
Terrible parents.
Yeah,
terrible.
She might be worse than Kaiser. Again, because it's her daughter, and she really doesn't like. She sees what's going on. She clearly sees her. Your daughter goes to a doctor and is freaked out every single time she talks to him. You're going to continue with going to that same doctor? Absolutely not.
No, if it's bad news Cruz, no way. No, any doctor. I'd be like, all right, there's a lot of other doctors out there. Maybe the mom has terrible health insurance. There's only one person in the network and it's bad news Cruz.
I'm betting he's not even a doctor. That's my guess.
Could you imagine that?
Yeah.
He goes, I go by doctor because Mr. didn't sound that official, right? But no, so then we get this one. Tina hears everything about going to the hospital. She already has her suitcase. She drives off, and then she sees the vision in the road of her mom getting gutted.
So there's one car there. She's driving, leaving her mom there.
Yep.
Okay.
Maybe she feels the way you just said. Maybe she's like, holy shit, my mom has not looked out for me. Like, she could have probably got me out of this.
No, because she
7
goes
years
back.
ago.
She goes back to look for her mom. So I don't see that. I just think like,
well, you're always going to help your mom. Maybe just in that moment, she was like, I gotta
what do you mean help her? She knows there's a killer out there, and she's leaving her mom there with a crazy doctor. How is that helping?
And she does total their only car.
And when she gets out of the car, she leaves the door open. She just like started walking around. And she really wasn't driving that far, but she decides instead of walking back through, taking the street back, which she goes to the woods.
Yeah.
Again, there's no fear for anybody walking in these woods at night. I don't like walking in the woods in my own backyard, let alone in a strange place. And
dude, when I'm done recording this, I run into the house. And I'm like 50 yards from my back door.
That's what I mean. I mean, so no one has a fear of these woods at all. And she knows obviously he was killed somewhere because she saw the vision, and she's still going to go out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now we cut back to Maddie. She's all done up. She has makeup, and she's looking for David.
Do you think she looks much better
outside? Well, she's got a face on.
Okay. Yeah. Why was she going outside looking for? Like, why did she think that he was outside?
See, that must have been a cut scene that she wanted to smoke with him because she said that earlier. But they must have cut something. There must have been a conversation like David.
Because it made no sense that she was automatically going right out there looking for him.
Made zero. Yeah. Like,
and again,
done at huge house,
walking in the woods alone.
Yeah.
Like there's so much walking in the woods alone is ridiculous.
And then I lost my earring.
Okay. So she loses her earring. Now, let's just say your wife loses an earring. Would you just dig in the one spot you're standing at? Because she loses the earring. She notices you lost the earring. She decides to bend down where she is and start searching right there. Wouldn't you like walk the path that you just walked in there and keep eyeing the ground, thinking that it fell off that way? Like not digging for it? Like why would it be underground?
It should not be underground, but luckily she does find it.
She does.
She puts it back in real quick, and then out of nowhere, and I swear this is Russell again, right? Because Russell had a plaid shirt.
Yes.
And he was the one that Dr. Cruz saw. So Jason moved him from the tree to hang him real quick to fall onto Maddie.
So Jason knew that Maddie's going to drop her earring right there so that the body falls exactly where she dropped the earring.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
He planned the whole thing. It's like a Scooby-Doo at the end.
Maybe he has telekinesis. And he made her, and he as he saw her coming, he made her earring fall off.
He did like that, falls off. But her kill's cool. Like when she's in the tool shed, and just the shot, the side shot of seeing him lurking behind while she's against the wall. And there was a funny thing in the behind the scenes. She said her ex-boyfriend, like after they broke up in the late 80s, early 90s, he would see if they ran into each other, he would say, I don't like you so much that when I need to, what does he say? She said like he rewatches my death scene over and over again.
Really?
That's kind of creepy.
That is creepy.
Yeah.
So she's in there. She's hiding under, I don't know, like a little room that she found that she crawled underneath.
Yeah, it's like a little like room within the tool shed. Yeah.
So clearly Jason doesn't see her there. Why did she crawl out? like if you're hiding from Jason and you go to this room, like and this happens a lot in these movies. People don't waste a lot of time when they think the person left. Like right, like when someone's searching in the house for them, and they're hiding in the closet, like we always talk about. They wait until like they leave the room and then they immediately walk out. Like to me, if I'm hiding from him, I'm staying there as long as possible. If I feel like he walked away, I'm not getting out of this room because he clearly doesn't think there's anyone there. And she I don't think she waits more than a minute when she thinks Jason's gone. She crawls right out.
Yeah, she crawls out, and then we see him right there. But just to see him like go through what he's gonna do from behind, I thought that was pretty cool. And then just the ripping through and using like the fisherman's hook, which is used to like grab like ice or like logs and stuff. I was like, wow, that's cool.
Why would that be there though?
Crystal Lake. It's Jersey. It's cold. Maybe they use it to do something with the ice.
Okay. All right.
Maybe. Maybe they filmed this one in Alabama. I think this is an Alabama one. Save some dough.
So maybe Jason does have a Southern accent.
You might be a Jason. Oh man. So then they get that death, and then we get Dr. Cruz again and the mom. They're like a team looking for Tina. They're going all around, and then Jason is at the house.
Okay.
He's outside the house.
So the mom and Cruz are looking for Tina in the woods when they know she took the car to leave. So
they saw her crash. They found the car.
Oh, yeah, okay. But where were they? They were looking in the woods before that, right? Or they were
No, they were walking down the road. No, they walked down the road. No, they drove down the road. Dr. Cruz's car was there. They didn't drive together.
Yes, they did. They didn't drive together?
No. He was at the house. And that's when she says, "Oh, hi,
right,
bad news, Cruz."
All right. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
See?
All right.
Now that changes your opinion on the movie?
Now, it does not, but now it makes a little sense. It makes a little sense. Okay.
Okay.
I thought it was the magic woods that everybody keeps finding each other in the woods. Because it does happen a few times.
Yeah. So then at this point, we have like 3 couples boning all at the same time. Well, sort of. Like
the exact same time.
Yeah. Melissa's being a monster. But no, so then we get the van scene.
So ridiculous.
And the guy in the behind the scenes is pretty funny. The actor who played Ben, he was like, "Yeah, I'm sleeping with my girlfriend and the van's shaking. Oh, let me get out of this and go see if it's Michael. No, I should have just went back to my girlfriend."
What made him think it was the guy? Like that didn't make sense right there. But what I laughed at, so when she sends him out to first of all, they were trying to surprise him, thinking there was the cousin. Yeah. But he gets out. Now, he was just having sex with her. He gets out of the van. He's getting dressed as he's leaving the van because he's got really nothing on, but I think like his underwear on, his boxer shorts. He walks around the van, and by the time he gets around the other side of the van, he's got his shoes, pants, and shirt on.
Oh, I didn't notice that. That's amazing.
He literally had sneakers on, pants, and his shirt buttoned up. And it was basically walking around the van. Like he pulled like a Clark Kent.
Holy shit, that's amazing. No, I didn't even notice that. But I love how Jason somehow was like walking around at the same time because he came out from where he just came from and then crushed his head like a grape. Another kill that they had a whole thing set up of squeezing the head.
I was waiting. So I was waiting for something more graphic. Like the way, like the minute he grabbed his head and started squeezing, I'm like, oh, you know what though? They already did that with the one where the guy's eyeballs pop out
in 3D. Yeah. No, they did do that one. Yeah. But he was just like squeezing it. And it was like, oh my God.
Yeah. But you know what? You said that. I think that's pretty funny. Like, can you imagine like seeing Jason like tiptoeing behind him as he walks around the van and as he's looking, you see Jason like tiptoeing going.
He does peep. Like in a lot of the movies, we don't see it. Like Michael Myers definitely does that. No, Jason is peeping, but I'm saying we don't see it as often. Like in Part 8 is the one movie.
Manhattan,
you really do see him peeping a lot.
He peeped on the boat. Oh,
that's what I mean.
That's
yeah,
yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
When he's like, I don't know where like the girl's looking and he's in the hallway, and then he's not, then he's in the bathroom. Then no, so there's like a lot of peeping. He's always peeping, but in this one, the fact that he popped out from the side of the van that Ben just came from, squeezes his head, and then the girlfriend's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And then somehow she does not see him. Who he's got to be in her almost vision, and he puts the thing into her eye.
And okay, so one, nobody ever hears anyone else getting murdered ever. No one hears it. And can you die with an eye? Like she died by eyeball? Like eyeball death?
Well, no. If something goes through your eye, it goes to your brain. Your brain's behind there.
I don't think so. I don't think your brain is up here. Your eyeball's here. I think there's like room in there that if you poke someone in the eye,
brain.
I don't think so. I don't think you could die that way. But how embarrassing is that though to die with a party? Was it a party hat or party horn? It was like a party horn.
Party horn.
That's a pretty bad way to die.
If that was an open casket.
Wait! You think they would leave that in there? so it was an open casket. They're not going to take the put like a patch on or something. They're going to leave the horn in there.
And she didn't know until she saw it at the premiere, because they did a big premiere at like the Chinese theater in LA, and she didn't know the horn sound effect was in it until she saw it. Because you heard that?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's funny.
Oh my gosh, man! So then so they're both dead, and now we get to so Eddie's getting rejected by Melissa, and the line that he says after getting rejected by this hottie, like, and I think what makes her even hotter is because she's a bitch, like that attitude she has. He goes, huh, "That's fine. I got denied by the finest science fiction publications in the world," and he goes, "Now I'm going to take a cold shower, and I have a date with a soap on a rope."
But did he get denied? Because he slept with her.
No, they didn't do anything yet. It was like the beginning of...
I thought they already did it, and she's like, all right, I can't do it anymore. I thought she did it. Okay. All right.
That's why she was probably just like, I'm going to kiss you a little bit every minute, and then hopefully Nick Nick, are you there? Oh, Nick's not in here. I'm going to take my bra off right now. Nick, oh, did you hear that? Did you hear a creak?
Okay.
Nick, come in here.
I mean, like, she couldn't have just fool around with him a little bit. She had to go almost all the way to get Nick's attention. Like that's
she had to know that unless they hooked up before, if there was that history that they told us as the audience, he had no interest in her.
I was going to say that he really, not only did he not have interest, he seemed like disgusted by her. You know, like their interaction.
He hated her.
So what made her think that this is going to make him jealous? So poor planning on her part.
Yeah. She even says that to him, and he like has his face like he like kind of like what?
Yeah.
Like no, and then the Jason does typical, cuts the power to the house,
which I find amazing that he's a monster who knows how to cut the power to the house. I mean,
maybe his father was an electrician.
He's 8 years old. I'm just saying that whole unmasking really ruined it for me. I think it would have been better if they didn't unmask him. And I think it just, I don't know. Because not only did he look like a monster, he looked like a monster that's been a monster his entire life. Like, you know, like he was born a monster. You know, like he should not be able to do thinking things.
Yeah, he kind of reminded me like a character that'd be like in He-Man. So no, I know what you mean, like, because even if he was like underwater, dead for so long, so he shouldn't like look like that.
No, I mean, I'm okay with the way he looks, but just keep it hidden, or maybe show half his face or something. Like, it was too much of it was like a monster movie. It became a monster movie.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Okay.
So so then we get Nick and Tina. They find Michael's dead body in the woods, and then right back we have to cut to Eddie and Robin, who are done boning, and this is where we get like the little bit of follow the 80s rules, the horror rules.
So and it's so comical the way it happens. It's such an oopsie just to purposely show her chest.
Yeah, she has it in front of her.
Yeah,
and then she like holds out the shirt to look at it to show it.
Yeah,
and then she puts it on. But how about David when he's like, babe, I'm hungry. And he's like, don't worry. I'm Hunter. I'm the hunter gatherer.
He's such a weirdo. Such a weirdo.
But this is a rare, I would say like in the Jason kills throughout the whole franchise, he rarely uses a knife. And he uses a butcher knife. Like he uses a normal like kitchen knife that like Michael Myers has used. And yeah.
And you know what's funny? There was the campers had a machete. So I thought like that would be because that's his obviously go-to, and I thought that's where he, you know, they're obviously showing you machete, so that you know he's going to grab it right away, and he doesn't even use it.
No, not at all.
Interesting.
He was like, you know what, this one I'm going to try something new.
And he does.
My therapist, Dr. Cruz, told me that. Try
the
something
machete is no good for him. You know, it just gives him anger.
Yeah. Harness something else. So then he kills him with a kitchen knife. And then at the very same time, we cut to Tina. She wants to find her dad's gun. She finds it. And then at the same time finds all the old newspaper articles about Jason. And then it's like, oh, Jason Voorhees. They almost say it like they sort of know it, but they definitely not. But she freaks out.
I know.
And the whole house shakes.
Yeah, it's so weird. I don't know. And the gun is loaded. Like, no, I don't think anyone keeps a loaded gun in the house.
From 7 years ago.
From 7 years ago.
Like,
that's not going to change. That's like
No, I know that, but I'm saying like somebody's been in that house. We know that it's clean. It's not like the mom would be like, you know what? I have a young daughter. Well, I don't know if she's ever been to that.
That's the thing. So the father had a loaded gun there while he was alive. She's 8 years old. So you're going to keep a loaded. So you know what? That's bad parenting.
He deserved to die. He deserved.
I didn't want to say it, but yes.
Yeah. And then we get Eddie. Eddie's like so like feeling sorry for himself. He starts opening Michael's presents, and then one is a penis enlarger.
It almost looked like a Christmas. I thought he was opening up Christmas gifts. That's what it looked like.
They kind of look like that.
It did.
Yeah. But this was the only kill that I can remember with the machete. So I guess he carried it around because he killed. This is another quick kill that they didn't show much. All you saw was Eddie sitting there, and then he looked over his shoulder, and then he sliced him with the neck with like a machete. But that was like another quick.
Where do you think he kept it?
by the front door, like in the umbrella holder.
Okay.
umbrella, machete.
I mean, if he's walking around with a machete, why is he just not using that the entire time?
Switching it up.
Okay.
Oh man. And then Robin's death. So Robin's death scene. So hers was actually already filmed, like when they did the movie, like they filmed it. And then hers was like a cut to the stomach. And it was like her stomach got split open. But when they watched it back, it didn't look good. So then they actually had to reshoot it to this one. And they filmed this one at Tommy's house from part 4.
Oh, really?
That's where they filmed this scene. So,
okay, but
which is the same house that not the same house that they get when one of the twins get tossed. That's from a different house. But no, the tossing that her get thrown out of the window.
Okay, so this part looks so ridiculous in the movie because she gets thrown backwards through the window.
You mean he, right?
Well.
He, the stuntman with big caps,
gets thrown
looking at the ground,
but gets thrown out backwards. But when you see it from the outside view, the person's jumping like down, and you can, it's almost like I'm gonna get you, sucker. When you see the mom doing the flips, and then you see the guy with the mustache, it looks so ridiculous, like it was so bad.
No, it was unbelievable. It was so unreal. And she even said that when she watched. She's like, why would they have a guy that has like dark hair and like the wig wasn't the same?
But it's the way they jumped out of the window was not the way she got thrown out of the window. So it looks so dumb. Okay.
How do they not match that? Like the stuntman could have jumped off that backwards.
Easily jumped backwards. I mean, no, they literally jumped through the window.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, and then this is when Jason tossed her out the window, and it was like a choke slam. It was like an Undertaker choke slam. And then from there, this is where kind of all hell breaks loose, because this is where we find Nick goes back to the house looking for everyone and doesn't hear anyone. And then he discovers Eddie's body under the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then this is where kind of like it all goes insane. Like, because this is where we get Jason with that insane weapon choice of like that weed whacker that has a saw blade on it.
Yeah, I mean, I have a weed whacker. I don't think I've ever seen a weed whacker like that. Like,
dude, that would be the only like thing that would be for is like
cutting branches,
chop,
maybe cutting branches,
but like never a saw blade that big.
No, not even close. I don't even know if I don't think it's a real tool. I think they just made
that's not street legal.
No, and I mean, listen, the two things he uses in this, and he has a hockey puck. A hockey stick at one point that's on fire.
Wait, you mean the hockey stick that has the? Oh yeah.
like what was that tool? Like, so I think they made a few things just to make it, just another kill with another weapon.
Was this like Home Improvement with this Tim Allen?
It could have been. Wait, that's your Tim Allen?
That didn't sound. That sounded like an ape. Right?
It did sound like an ape.
All right, what is that? Wow, I can't nail that. Gosh, come on, Tim Allen.
Stick to voice acting. Voices. Don't not sound effects.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
It's not saying a lot.
Your sound effects are a half, and your voices are 1.
At least it's not a half.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay,
you're right. Half better. So dude, this is where we get like, dude, Cruz, where we thought he was already bad when he uses Tina's
as a
mom
shield?
as a human shield.
I mean, it could have been worse. I thought he was going to throw her at, push her at towards Jason. So I was like, oh, he's going to, but I mean, like, I don't know what's worse, using it as a shield or pushing her towards Jason so he has time to get away.
Oh my God. Jason quickly sticks her. She's dead. He runs away. And then he even gets to the point in which I don't know why anyone does. They're like,
stops.
Oh, I lost him.
It made no sense. Like, he wasn't running that long. So like, again, I don't care who you are, how out of shape you are. If you're in a situation like that, your adrenaline's going to pick in. You're going to run until you can't, and you literally can't run anymore. He literally ran for like 30 seconds. It's like, oh, he's gone.
And then he trips, and then he's there, and then his death was like serious too. Like, they had a super close up of the blade going into his stomach, got cut. So you only get like, it's like a little cut.
Why
it's over.
Did they cut all these kills? What was the
MPAA? That's why.
Yeah, but they showed him in other movies.
Well, remember, who goes to see these movies? The age wise. High school.
Okay.
So they have to get it to PG-13.
Yeah, but aren't the other movies R? Or they're all, so they just wanted, so this one's PG-13?
I think they're all PG-13.
Really? No
I'm
way.
Pretty sure
no way. They have to be R.
Not back then. Remember, we saw boobs in
Clash of the Titans
PG movies.
I always go back to Clash of the Titans. That was my first PG boob movie.
The rating should be like right. Oh no, it is a rated R.
Has to be.
So
has to be with the deaths. Has to be.
Which is crazy. Think about the movies that are rated R now and the gore, like Terrifier 2 that just came out.
Right. Well,
like they cut the crap out of this movie.
That's what I mean. Like, and they didn't do it with the other movies. So I wonder why for this movie in particular they really didn't show the deaths.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it.
They did that for like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. Like because that's what you sort of look for. You look for the amazing special effects.
I wonder if there's a story on that and why they had to cut it out. Well, because didn't they kind of do that with Hellraiser? One of the Hellraisers? They
did it in some of the other Friday the 13th. There's a lot of scenes that we watch as a viewer and we're like, oh man, that's so cool. Because I like sometimes when we don't see Jason do it, not all the time, but every so often when you see him swing the machete and the blood splatter on the wall or on the window, I think that's cool.
But it's still showing it. But it's still showing something, and I think that's.
Oh yeah.
So
maybe they didn't plan for that because they didn't think that it would get cut, and then everything got
or
cut.
Maybe they planned for it because they didn't think anyone's going to watch the movie.
Oh no. These movies, no matter what, it's so funny. Like even this one, they're like had a poor showing at the box office. It's like still made like $13 million. All these movies were made with it like between 1 million and 2 million budget, and always made in the teens, which is crazy to me that they're like, yeah, after even Hell like didn't do bad, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna hold off for a while. It's like, why?
You know what?
You're making on everything.
Horror fans, they're like I think it's like almost like country fans, like country music fans. Like they're so loyal to their music, and the same thing with horror fans. I think they're so loyal to horror movies that regardless of how whatever reviews that the movie gets, they're gonna go see it anyway.
Man, dude, every country horror listener that we have is like beaming right now, glowing.
Yeah, of course they are. But they're I would say they're the biggest fans. I think country fans are the biggest fans of music. Like they really, that's why American Idol, you always have a country person winning. Who likes country? Now we just.
I was going to ask you.
Now
do you have any? Yeah, we just lost and they just turned it off. You don't have any country people you like Garth Brooks?
No, not at all. The only one I like is
Kenny Rogers,
Chris Stapleton. He's like Southern rock. He's like Southern rock though, so it's not really country.
Okay. I like The Gambler. I listen to Kenny Rogers.
Yeah. Kenny Rogers, Dolly Parton, and Willie Nelson.
Okay.
And
we should do one of those Kenny Rogers movies.
He was
one of those.
He was in movies.
He does the Gambler movies, and there's like 4 sequels.
And he's in all of them.
Yeah, he's the Gambler.
Oh my goodness! All right.
They make a mental note of that.
Okay.
So then we get so this is where we this is where it's crazy because we obviously Cruz just dies.
Yep.
And it's funny in those fan made sequels, he somehow survives. Like he's not dead because he's in like one of the fan made sequels, like with Lar Park.
He was actually in it.
Yeah, they say he survived because they cut.
No. But Kaiser was actually in a fan made movie.
Oh yeah, well they had a budget and stuff.
I was gonna say they had to pay him because he won't talk to us.
I think that's his people. I would love.
I know we got to try. We got to try again.
Yeah,
all right.
We got to do that.
All right.
So then we get the moment that like because Jason never had like a foe that he had to fear in any of these movies. So as silly as it is, like
fire. He has a fear. He has a fear of fire.
No, he has a fear of fire. I'm talking about he never had like a foe.
That he was afraid of.
So when they do that stare down and he's standing in that puddle, dude, and she uses her powers, which, dude, when you see the branches come off the tree and grab him, pull him into the mud, and then you're like, holy shit, that's badass. And then she takes down the power lines and then that electrocutes him. You're like, oh my God, like this is going to be a lot of cool effects.
Now, if I'm Tina and now I have control of my power, you know what I would do? I would just rip his arms off. Couldn't she do that?
She could probably do that. And this is right after, not to cut you off, this was just before this is when she finds all the bodies.
Right.
So she finds all the bodies in the woods. And then that's what angers her.
Correct.
To be able to use all of her
So
powers
while he's tied down, why not like just rip his, use that power and rip his arms off? No, she does whatever, everything. And just, I want to see him come back from that. He's come back from everything else. Let's see him come back from having no arms and legs.
Can you imagine that? He's just like wiggling.
It would be like Monty Python, Holy Grail.
Yeah.
But she does what every movie does. She thinks he's dead and then walks away. Like, finish the job.
Well, the one in the house is the worst. So when they get back to the house, and then you get Kane jumping through the window, which I think is so.
It is cool. But
Jesus,
how deep is that basement? That they keep.
Oh no, that's what I was gonna say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, the fact that it wasn't. Well, it was in the basement when after he went down after she choked him and you saw the mask. But when they're going up the stairs and she sends the light and knocks him out and he falls through and then he just goes in a door.
Oh wait, so a light bulb hit him in the head and that's what like I would think Jason's such a massive beast that it would just break on his head. I don't think it would knock him over. Like, I don't think a light bulb can knock you over.
Well, not even that I agree with that. But the fact that he can be so crafty, cunning, and he can do so much, but he can't duck.
He can jump. He can jump through a window like a ninja, but he can't move fast enough when a light bulb's swinging at you. And and is that how basements are? Like the stairs were going upstairs. So it wasn't even like basement stairs. It was upstairs, and somehow it's so hollow that it goes right down to the basement.
No, he doesn't fall in the basement yet. He falls into the closet door because there's a closet under the stairs, and he busts through that. Oh, and then so that's when Tina grabs the wire from the light and chokes him and splits his mask. And then from there, she opens the floor. Well, and then he falls through the floor.
Like twice, though. Doesn't he fall through the floor twice? Or
well, he falls through the stairs, then he falls through the floor.
It just seemed like it's like a deep hole when he falls. It's like ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, no.
And somehow he's able to get right back up. Like, is he jumping?
Yeah, she's looking down at him. Yeah, and then this whole time, Nick gets knocked out. He gets knocked out here, and then he gets knocked out on the dock. He gets knocked out pretty quick.
He's useless. He really is. At this point, he's like completely useless. But again.
Yeah, I think he went at him for like a second.
Yeah,
that was really
he tried. You thought like he might have been like, he was kind of like a tough guy the whole movie. And no, he really didn't do much.
And then in the basement, you get her firing nails at him, spraying him with gasoline. But dude, the burns. And one of the editors in the behind the scenes, he was like, because Kane had a bad burn accident like in the late 70s. So he's like, for this guy to do this burn and for this long, like, God.
But wouldn't his clothes like just basically burn off?
You would think so.
You think, okay.
Or maybe because he's still so wet.
So you think it was able to protect some of the clothing he has?
Some of the clothing hung on.
I mean, not that I want to see Jason naked. I'm just saying, it's, he's a monster. So I'm assuming he has nothing going on anyway. But I'm just saying, like, it just, like, if he had his mask on, I guarantee the mask wouldn't be burnt.
Yeah, that's true. It'd be perfect.
He would. I mean, he's walking through this house when they show you in his house, earlier when he was in the kitchen. Now, he was in the water for how long? He's running in the woods. No mud on him, no dirt, nothing. Like, he's completely clean when he's just anytime he walks around. Like, no seaweed coming off him. Like, he was buried in the water for how long? He doesn't have algae or anything like seaweed kind of.
Or no one like bumped into him. Like people, I'm sure, use that water and fished or something.
Okay, so that reminds me. Okay, so he's in the water for how long? If people can't see him or hear him in the woods, because even though it's completely open, you're gonna smell him. He's gonna smell like fishy water because he's been there for He's been there for 8 years.
Hey, I smell rotting flesh. And you look in, you're like, oh, it's Jason Voorhees. I see him right there. He's just waiting.
Okay.
So then we get the house explosion. Cool story about that. So they actually blew a house up.
Why did it blow up?
Oh, because all
she did was pour gasoline everywhere.
No, the house is so remote it should have been oil, but maybe it was propane gas, so they were using that. Because I'm sure it wasn't natural gas.
Because there was a massive explosion.
Oh, dude. So they filled this house with so much dynamite. They got so much dynamite for it. They set up all the... If you look at the shot, it's kind of funny because they're like, this would be like the big moment of the movie. This is really the last time we could use all this. And it blew up within like 10 seconds. So footage-wise, they didn't get too much. And cameras got burnt. Lenses got all messed up. Cameras broke. It wasn't like super worth it.
Can you imagine if like one of the like the stage hands by accident is like walking in the background as it's like blowing up, and they just basically just because they only have one take on it, like they're stuck. Like,
oh, you just see him walking?
Yeah.
I think you said they left him in the house. They're like, hey, did anybody tell Frank we're going to start in 5 minutes?
No, that would. I mean, that's sad. But I'm just saying, like, the fact that they have one shot to do this, and you have the one guy, like, in the middle, just, like, not even paying attention. And, like,
taking a leak.
Picking his nose or something.
Yeah.
Jeez, stuck in the house.
Oh, man. So then we think it's over. Tina and Nick are on the dock. Jason comes out of nowhere to not grab Tina, and then Nick shoots Jason. And then within seconds, he's knocked out again. He has head problems.
I said he's not.
He had concussions in high school.
Yeah,
he was knocked out, and we saw him laying face down on whatever boat was. There was a boat there. I don't know whose boat that was.
Well, it is a dock.
Yeah, somebody's.
It is a dock. Why wouldn't there be a boat there?
Well, you would think for a little dock. She was on a house.
No, she was on a boat when in the beginning of the movie. That's their boat.
Oh, you think they kept the dock they kept the boat that they murdered?
Why not?
I would hope they sold that.
They left the dock there the way it is. Why would they get rid of the boat?
Man, that's a great boat. Why are you trying to get rid of it? No reason.
Well, he didn't die. Wait.
Story.
He didn't die in the boat.
Oh, okay.
It had nothing to do with the boat. Oh, so they should get rid of Tina because Tina was directly involved with the father.
I would have sold the house. 100%.
Oh, that's a different story. I mean,
the memories of like abusive alcoholic husband,
of course,
who had a loaded gun.
And again, wouldn't you fix the dock like that? To me, that's a bigger reminder. Like, this is where it happened. Like, at least, like, if you fix the dock or get rid of the dock, you don't see it anymore. You don't have the memory of that. But no, let's
think about it.
Let's leave it where exactly what killed him, the dock.
Yeah.
Okay.
But speaking of the alcoholic father, he saves the day.
Okay, so he's dead for 7 years, 8 years in the water.
Oh, wait. They didn't retrieve the body and have a funeral?
Well, besides that, yes, they didn't retrieve the body. He looks like perfectly normal, as if he was just going underwater for a little bit. This is this is 8 years later.
You're right. So they shot it with like prosthetics and made him look like a zombie almost. And then there was this one girl who worked on a lot of the Paramount projects for one of the main guys, Frank Mancuso, who she worked on mostly like drama and comedies. So she got tasked with this, and her and Beekler like butted heads so much. So there was like I'm trying to think what it was. Oh, it was taking off Jason's mask. he said he wasn't going to do it and then did it anyway. He's like, screw it. I
Oh
don't care.
man.
Same thing with this, but he basically was like, let me take off his mask and then I won't like make the dad look like a zombie.
But
So that was like,
but that's stupid.
difference.
Because again, it looks so silly. I get it. She's able to raise Jason, but the dad looks completely normal, like completely. Like there wasn't. Like I said, he looked like he just went underwater, like picking some rocks underwater and came back
yeah.
up. Like it just that was so dumb. It was really dumb.
And why do he have chains around his hands?
He did.
Yeah, because he like grabs Jason with it looks like shackles.
Well, it's probably the chain that Jason had when he was already buried. Because Jason didn't have.
oh,
Well, but Jason was walking around with chains around his neck.
well, he ripped it off.
Oh.
Like when he came out of the water, then he ripped it
So
off.
he was able to take because it was on a rock. So he was able to pull it out of the rock.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like the sword and the stone.
So
he did that.
Okay, so clearly then the father's alive. Did they try to like get him out of there and say, oh, maybe he's alive? Or they just say, all right, he pulled Jason under. Did they go back under and try to get the father out at that point?
Do you think they're living happily ever after right now?
But they like there was none of that. Like it wasn't like, Dad, you're alive. Like it was nothing. It was basically, all right, he came out of the water, looks normal, pulls Jason under. Maybe he's alive, maybe he's not, but you're not gonna check.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're taken away in an ambulance. Did they ever put two people in one ambulance together like that?
Oh, and how old they were. The ambulances and stuff were like really old.
I was gonna say,
and one of them, so remember, like, I know they never mentioned the name of the town, but they actually had a town name
oh really?
on one of it. I don't know if it said like Holloway or something.
It looked like such an old timey ambulance.
Oh, yeah.
And I think there's a fire truck there too, or something that looked like an old timey fire.
It was like Death Wish 3. Death Wish 3. They used the old British fire truck from the 50s.
Oh, ridiculous.
But he's Stockton. Yep. The town was Stockton, whatever. So somewhere Stockton, Alabama, maybe, or Arkansas, let them borrow an old timey fire truck.
That's funny.
Day. But and then the firefighter found the mask that was split in half.
Completely fine.
Keepsake.
So that mask, you know what I said before, the mask would be fine. It was in the house that had a massive explosion, and somehow the mask looked brand new, except for it was split in half.
Now, if you're the manufacturer of those masks, that's the ad, right? It's going to last for life, and we mean
for
it.
hockey. That would have started everything. But
I used the Jason mask, and it's like Martin Brodeur.
Like, wouldn't it have been smart to like at least show it melted a little bit, just something, like just show nothing. It looked brand new,
flawless.
It really was.
It was like psh,
It was
explosion. Everything.
That one's yellow.
That's Jason Takes Manhattan. It's more yellow in that one.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's Friday the 13th, part 7, A New Blood. Gotta ask my after we discuss it, would you recommend somebody to watch this?
You have to, because it's part of the series.
Yep.
But I don't think I think it's in the bottom of the list of all of them. Not the bottom, but it's top 3 maybe in the bottom, I think.
Oh.
I like a lot of the other ones better, but you have to. And if you're a Jason fan, you're a Friday the 13th fan, it's part of the, you got to keep watching them all. So yeah, absolutely.
All right. No, I always say Zombie Jason. Like, I love the other ones. I like 2, 3, 4, 5. Like when we talked about it, I really had like a different understanding, and maybe after interviewing the main girl. But 6 Zombie Jason are like the 3 that I love to watch. I don't know what it is. There's something about it, but no, you got to watch all.
You do, but like I said, I think honestly, as much as like you're excited to see Jason without the mask, and I was too. Like, you always, you want to see what he looks like. It's almost like, like knowing what you get for your birthday gift before you open it. And then you're disappointed when you open it, right? Because you already know what it is. Like, and to me, it's like, now I see what he is underneath that mask. It kind of ruins it because he's so not a human at all. Like, I'd rather see zombie, like look like a human zombie, than see a monster. And he looks like a monster, not a zombie. And I think that ruined it for me.
Yeah, he looks better than he looks like an 8 when they take the mask off, because he has like those weird teeth and he looks like a mummified. But so in the next sequel that we're gonna be covering, it's the holiday season. So we're gonna be covering Puppetmaster 10, Axis Rising. The fact that if you're covering a 7th installment there's like very rare chances that the next one is going to be higher, but we did it. So it's Puppetmaster 10, Axis Rising. It's free on YouTube. For it, I interviewed Martin Harris. He had a small role in this as a Nazi soldier, but man, his story was one that I didn't expect. Like I'm like looking at his IMDb. I'm like, oh, cool. He was in that really awesome, legendary like prison fight scene in Stranger Things. He's one of the prisoners. Cool stories about that. But dude, he was from Poland, and his journey to Hollywood along the way, he covered the NBA for Europe. So he was like coming to America to cover All-Star games. Had like sort of like not like he knew Kobe that well, but had like conversations with Kobe. We talked NBA. He's a Hawks fan, so I really gave him the business being a Knicks fan. But and then the fact that he worked at the Comedy Store doing stand-up for so many years, and then like did like the Friday night show. He was the guy that ran it. He knew so many of the guys, like Joey Coco Diaz. He was like, oh yeah, he just moved to Jersey. I'm like, holy shit, dude, this guy really knows everybody. But he was fun to talk to. So yeah, Puppetmaster 10, it'll be fun. I only remember like the first one.
Oh, you saw the first one?
Oh yeah, it was like our buddy Billy Wilson. That was like a sleepover movie that they would show to me and his brother.
Is it like what's that movie with the small soldiers? Or,
Small Soldiers?
Yeah.
I guess it's sort of like that.
Okay.
It's more Small Soldiers is more CG, but
no, but I watched the trailer and I didn't see one puppet. They were all toys, like miniature toys.
Well, they're puppets.
Okay, we're not going to get in this conversation.
We'll talk about that.
Wait,
we'll have to.
I have to say this one real quick then, because so you think a puppet is closer to a toy than a marionette?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! All right, I'm done.
A marionette has strings.
A toy. You can't even make it speak. So you're saying like He-Man is like a puppet? So you think He-Man's more of a puppet than Pinocchio?
Well, we're gonna have to talk about this.
Oh my goodness.
That'll be like a good 30-minute chunk of us discussing. Are these puppets?
Ridiculous. That's so dumb.
But yeah. So don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, guys.